ഗുലാത്തി ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ട് ഓഫ് ഫിനാൻസ് ആൻഡ് ടാക്സേഷൻ സംഘടിപ്പിക്കുന്ന വെബിനാറിൽ ധനമന്ത്രി തോമസ് ഐസക് സംസാരിക്കുന്നു.
Kerala has been able to provide much better education, healthcare and welfare and social security for its citizens. So much so the quality of life in the state is more nearer to the developed countries' experience rather than, say, most of India. Now, this has been achieved through a process of redistribution. The powerful trade unions effecting an increase in the wages and thus redistributing the income. The powerful peasant organizations forcing the government to implement land reforms, resulting in redistribution of assets. And social movements over the last more than, say, 1.5 century, forcing the successive governments to adopt a proactive role in the spread of education, healthcare, and social security. And therefore, this redistributive strategy of growth has enabled that the ordinary citizen in the state is assured of the basic needs. And I think this is a very proud heritage which we want to take forward. But there is one problem. The economic base has remained relatively stagnant, slow growing, low productivity. And therefore, there is always concern whether this redistributive path can be maintained, sustained. And therefore, there is urgent need for a restructuring of the economic base, a shift in the development path from low productivity, traditional industries, or highly polluting and capital energy intensive chemical industries, or even a kind of small scale agriculture that we have, transform it to a development path which is more in tune with the resource endowments of the state, both natural and human resources. And therefore, we have come to the conclusion that the most suitable industrial structure would be those who are knowledge intensive or service intensive, skill intensive industries. Now, how do we effect this shift in the development path? As everybody knows about the path dependency problem, it requires huge investment in the infrastructure because over the last 1 century, with our focus on social sector spending, we are capital expenditure deficit. And this has to be made up. So 5 years back, we made a bold initiative to mobilize resources outside the budget through special purpose vehicles and invest not only physical infrastructure like assured broadband connectivity to every household in Kerala, assured electricity supply throughout the state, or better road connectivity, a huge investment program, which a total amount would come to something like ₹500 billion. It's a program is on. Projects worth more than ₹500 billion have been approved and are getting implemented in the state. Now that has prepared the ground base, the background for our dreaming, not just dreaming, planning to shift to transform Kerala into a knowledge economy. And that is how, say, the last budget combined, this agenda has been put forward. Now, I shall not go into the details. I am certain there are policymakers and scholars who will be making presentations upon which the best minds in the in this area of innovation and say startup and knowledge industries will be responding to. Therefore, I won't take much time, but definitely I'll be attending throughout and may intervene in the discussions later the time. But to sum up, what we are attempting to do is there are two major interventions. One intervention is to create global portal, job portal, where educated unemployed in Kerala, within the small state of Kerala, educated unemployed total